Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Mr. Kovold, and in this video I'm going to be going over some practice problems using conversion factors. And in this video I'm going to go over problems that involve like single unit conversions, double unit conversions, as well as square or cubed units and how to do that. So let's get into this. So convert 3.6 miles. So number one here, it wants us to convert 3.6 miles into centimeters. So the first thing we want to do is start with the 3.6 miles. So we're going to put 3.6 miles over 1. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just multiply by conversion factors. So we need to use equalities between units and set them up as conversion factors. So we start with miles, and we're just going to use conversion factors to get to the unit we want. So we want to get to centimeters. We're starting with miles, so we need to convert miles to something that we know, and then convert that unit into something we know until we get centimeters on top. Once we get centimeters on top, we're done. So we have miles. You could use a table, or you could look up if your teacher gives you a table of relationships between different units. You could use that table, or if you know just off the top of your head certain equalities, you could use those. I happen to know that 1 mile is equal to 5,280 feet. So I'm going to use that. So since I have miles on the top, I'm going to put so let me put that here. So I know that 1 mile is equal to 5,280 feet. So I know that equality. So I'm going to set that up as a conversion factor. So since I have miles on top, I'm going to put 1 mile on the bottom. 1 mile on the bottom. And I have 5,280 feet. So that's going to go on the top. So 5,280 feet. So miles cancels out, and now I have feet on top. I got to keep going because I don't want feet, I want centimeters. So now can I convert feet to something? Well, I know that 12 inches is equal to 1 foot. So let's convert that to inches. So let me write that down here. So I know that 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. So since I have feet on top, I'm going to put 1 foot on the bottom. 1 foot on the bottom. And I'm going to put 12 inches on top. So that's my conversion factor, my next one. So feet cancel out. So now I'm multiplying by this conversion factor to go from feet to inches. Now I have inches on top. And so now I need to still convert to centimeters. So I'm not done. I don't have centimeters on top yet. So I keep going. But I finally can use, I know that 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. So now I can use that to convert to centimeters. So I'm going to set this up by last conversion factor. So since I have inches on top, I'm going to put 1 inch on the bottom. And so inches are going to cancel out. And I put 2.54 centimeters on top. So 2.54 centimeters on top. So inches are going to cancel out. Now I have centimeters on top. I am done. That's the unit I want. So now all I'm going to do is multiply using my calculator. So then I take 3.6. I'm going to multiply everything on top and divide by what's on the bottom. Notice I have ones on the bottom. Multiplying or dividing by 1 doesn't do anything, so I can skip that. So I'm going to multiply by everything on top. So 3.6 times 5280 times 12 times 2.54, 2.54 equals, and that gives me a large number. So it's 579,000. So I can put that in scientific notation. So 57.9, 363 and some change. So I could put that in scientific notation. I could round to 580. So that's going to be 5.8 times 10 to the fifth. And that's in centimeters. So centimeters is our answer. So 3.6 miles is equal to this many centimeters. Okay, so far so good. Let's do another one. So convert 15 years into minutes. So we're going to start with 15 years over 1. And we're going to multiply that by conversion factors until we get to minutes. So we're going to have to convert years to something and then that to something. So what can we convert years to? Well, we could convert it to months. We could convert it to days, probably is the better. So 1 year is equal to 365 days. So we can set that up. So 1 year is equal to 365 days. So year goes on the bottom. So 1 year goes on the bottom, and the 365 days goes on top. 365 days. Years cancels out. Now we have days. We have the unit days. We want minutes. So what can we convert days to? We can convert it to hours. So we know that one day is equal to 24 hours. So we can use that. So days is on top. So I'm going to put 1 day on the bottom. So 1 day goes on the bottom. 24 hours goes on top. Days cancels out. Now I have hours on top. I want minutes, so I'm not done yet. So I got to keep going. So my next conversion factor. What's the relation between hours and minutes? We know that 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. So 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. And that's my last one. I'll have minutes. So I'm going to put 1 hour on the bottom and 60 minutes on top. So hours cancels out. I have minutes on top. That's the unit I want. So I'm done. So all I do is I calculate the answer using my calculator, which is right here. So again, I'm going to multiply by on the top, divide by on the bottom. Notice that we have all ones on the bottom. So dividing by 1 doesn't do anything. So we can skip that. Otherwise, we would divide by what's on the bottom. So I'm going to multiply by 15 times 365 times 24 times 60 equals, and I get 7,884,000 minutes. So that would be the answer. If you want to put this in scientific notation, it would be 7.884 times 10 to the 6 minutes. Okay, let's keep going. Number 3. Now for 3, even single units. So we haven't had a unit on the bottom here. We just have it over 1. But now that we're dealing with double units here, we're going to have a unit on the bottom now. So it's 20 miles per 1 hour. And we want that to be inches over seconds. So we do everything exactly the same. The only difference here is now not only do we have to convert the top unit to a different unit, but we're going to have to convert a bottom unit to a different unit. But we're doing the exact same thing, but it's going to be flipped a little bit. I'll show you in a moment. So here, let's go ahead and do this. So we're going to start with what we're given. So 20 miles over 1 hour this time. So since I have that unit there, I have to put the unit here. Since there's no second unit here, there's no unit on the bottom. It's just 1. So now I'm going to convert miles to inches, and I'm going to convert hours to seconds. So I got to do it twice. So it doesn't matter where you begin. I'm going to convert the top unit first because we've seen that, and then I'll show you. Then you can do the bottom unit. So again, we want miles to inches. So we're going to do. Notice we did the same thing here. So we're going to convert 1 mile to feet. So we know that 1 mile is equal to 5,280 feet. So again, 1 mile goes on the bottom. 5,280 feet goes on top. So the miles cancel out. And then now we want inches. We want inches on top, right? So we are not done here yet. So we need to do another one. So we know that 1 foot equals 12 inches. So we're going to use that again. So 1 foot on the bottom to cancel out with feet on top. And then we got 12 inches. So feet cancel out. Now we have inches on top. That's what we want. So we're done with the top unit. But now we need to do the bottom unit. So we have to do the bottom unit now. So now it's kind of the opposite. So we have hour on the bottom, but we want seconds on the bottom. So in order to cancel out hours, which is on the bottom, we have to put hours on top. So we know that 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. So this time we're putting 1 hour on top because that's going to cancel out without hours on the bottom. So it's kind of like doing the opposite here. So now hours cancel out. We have 60 minutes on the bottom. So now we have minutes on the bottom, but we want seconds on the bottom. So we're not done yet. So we need to do another one. So now I have a relationship between minutes and seconds. I know that 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. So now I can put 1 minute on the top, and I'm going to put 60 seconds on the bottom. And minutes cancel out. Now I have seconds on the bottom. So seconds. Now I'm done. So I have seconds on the bottom here. I have inches on the top there. I have inches over seconds. I am done. So now all I need to do is calculate. So I take my calculator and I'm going to multiply by what's on the top and divide by what's on the bottom. Notice I have 60 and 60 on the bottom, so I'm going to have to divide by those. So I multiply the top, so 20 times 5,280 times 12. And then the ones I can ignore, and then I'm going to divide by what's on the bottom. Again, the ones you can ignore because dividing by 1 doesn't do anything. So now I'm going to divide by 60, and then divide by 60 equals, and I get 352. So 352, and then that's inches per second. Inches per second. And that is your answer. So I hope that was helpful. I hope you understood that. Let's do another one. We got another one here. So practice makes improvement. Okay, so again, we have kilometers over days, 30 kilometers per 1 day. So we're going to put 30 over kilometer. We're going to put 30 kilometers on the bottom, and we're going to put 1 day on top. Now, there's another way you can do it. So another way that you could do this is by what is called the line method. So notice that I've been doing conversion factors, multiplied by a conversion factor, multiplied by a conversion factor, and they're kind of separated by a multiplication sign. Well, you might have seen a line method where people put a line like that, and they put a line like that, and here they put their conversion factor. So for example, I want to convert kilometers into feet. So what do? I have to convert kilometers to something. I'm going to convert kilometers to meters, all right? Okay, so we could do meters, or you could convert kilometers to miles, right? If you know the relationship between kilometers and miles. So there's different ways of converting as long as you know the relationships that you can use to make a conversion factor. Give me a second here. Hold on a second. All right. So So let's convert kilometers into meters. So I know that given what kilometers mean, so you need to know your prefix multipliers, right? So the way I do it, remember the way I do it is I always set up the units. So the metric units, it's kilometers and meters. So I put km for kilometers, and that's equal to a certain number of meters, right? So what numbers do I put here? Well, I always put the one with the prefix. So this unit has the prefix kilometer. And then what does kilo mean? What is the prefix multiplier for kilo? Well, kilo is 1,000. 10 to the 3. So that's 1,000. So 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. Kilometer, 1,000 meters, right? So now I have my equality. So I have kilometers here. I'm going to put kilometers on the bottom. So 1 kilometer goes there. And then 10 to the 3 meters, or 1,000 meters, goes on the top. 10 to the third meters. So kilometers cancels out. Now I have meters, so I can do my line method again. So I can do that one. And so do I have a relationship between, say, meters and inches? Well, you might have that little table, or you might have some appendix with relationships, and that might have a relationship there between meters and inches. So I happen to have that. So you can look on that table or whatever information your teacher has given you. And so you would know that 1 meter is equal to 39.37 inches. So 1 meter is equal to 39.37 inches. Okay, so now we can use this and set it up as a conversion factor. So since I have meters here, I'm going to put meters on the bottom to cancel out, and I have 1 meter. So I'm going to put 1 meter on the bottom, 1 meter on the bottom, and then the rest, this goes on top. Inches goes on top, 39.37. 39.37 inches. So now meters cancels out, and I now have inches on the top. And so now I can use the 12 feet is equal to 12 inches is equal to 1 foot. So now I can use that. And so now inches is on top, inches goes on the bottom. So 12 inches goes on the bottom to cancel out inches, and 1 foot goes on the top. And so inches cancels out. Now I have feet on the top. Excellent. Now I'm done with feet. Now I can do the bottom one. So I have day on the bottom. I want minutes. So I know, again, 1 day is equal to 24 hours. So I'm going to put that down. So since I have days on the bottom, I need to put 1 day on the tops. What is 1 day equal to? It's equal to 24 hours. So days cancel out, and now I have hours on the bottom, but I want minutes. I know that 1 minute is equal to 60. I'm sorry, 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. So I'm going to put a line, and then my last conversion factor. So 1 hour goes on top to cancel out hours, and 60 minutes goes on the bottom. So hours cancels out. Now I have minutes on the bottom. I want minutes on the bottom. I'm done. So I have minutes on the bottom. I have feet on top, feet over minutes. I am done. So now all I need to do is use my calculator to multiply and divide. So I'm going to multiply by everything on the top, divide by what's on the bottom. Again, you can skip the ones. You don't need to multiply and divide by 1. So here we have 30. We're going to multiply that by 1,000 because 10 to the third is 1,000. We're going to multiply that by 39.37. We're going to multiply that by, and the rest are 1. So we got 1 times 1 times 1. Great. And now we're going to divide by on the bottom, divided by 1, divided by 1, divided by 1, divide by 12. So we're going to divide by 12. And we're going to divide by 24. And then we're going to divide by 60 equals. And I get 68.35, what is it, feet over minutes, feet per minute. So that is the answer to number 4, the fourth example. And then finally, last but not least, we got this thing where we have inches squared. Now, how do you deal with a unit that's squared or cubed? You deal with it the exact same way you would deal with a normal one, except for now when you do a conversion factor, you got to square the conversion factor in order to get the square unit. Or if you're dealing with cubed units, you have to cube the conversion factor you use. So let me show you. So here, I simply want to go from 5 inches squared to centimeters squared. So what's the relationship between inches and centimeters? Well, the relationship between inches and centimeters is simply 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. So I'm going to use that as a conversion factor like I normally would, right? So let's go ahead and do this. So I have 5 inches squared. I'm going to put it over 1 because I only have that 1 unit. It's not a unit over a unit, so it's just 1. And now I'm going to set up my conversion factor like I normally would. Like I'm going to convert from inches to centimeters because I want centimeters squared. So I got to convert to centimeters. So I'm going to use this as a conversion factor just like I normally would, right? So here, inches on the top. So I want 1 inch on the bottom. And I want centimeters on top. So 2.54 centimeters. So now I've got inches and I got centimeters. Now I have here inches squared. Inches squared is the same as inches times inches. So if I have inches on the bottom and I have inches times inches on the top, only one of these is going to, this one on the bottom is only going to cancel out one of these on top. So I'm going to be left with inches on the top. So what do I need to do? Well, you could either just multiply by the same conversion factor, right? 2.54 centimeters on the top and then 1 inch on the bottom. And then now you have 2 inches on the bottom, and that would cancel out with both inches on top, right? That's one way to do it, but that would be kind of a longer way. You'd have to do more conversion factors. Or a shorter way, one that you don't really have to write so much, is just go ahead and square the whole conversion factor. So everything inside the parentheses is squared. So each number is squared. So it's 2.54 is squared, centimeters is squared, and inches is squared. 1 is squared, but one squared is 1, right? So you have to be careful here that you remember to square the number as well as the unit. So now we have inches squared on the bottom. So that's going to cancel out with inches squared on top. And now I have my centimeters squared on the top. And I got to remember that the 2.54 here is squared. So when I do my calculation, which I'm going to do right now, I'm going to take the 5, I'm going to multiply it by 2.54 squared. So I got to do 2.54. I'm going to hit the square button, and I squared it, and that's going to be equal to 32.258 centimeters squared. So that would be my answer. So I hope this is helpful. I hope you learned something. I hope this is informative. So if you enjoyed this video, please like the channel, hit that like button. Okay, make sure you hit that notification, subscribe to my channel. hit the notification bell so that way you can be notified by any other videos I put out. Put a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think and if you have any questions for me to answer. Thanks for joining me and have a great day.